How many After Effects users do I have in my crowd today? Whoa, all right. Well, you are in the right place. My name is Carl Soule, and I'm going to spend the next 25 minutes or so talking to you guys about Adobe After Effects and precisely what is new in After Effects that we are showing at NAB. Now, there's a number of new features that are in this release. We're going to talk about things like the libraries. We're going to talk about face tracking. But this release of After Effects is a special one in my mind because this probably has the biggest new feature in After Effects in the last 10 years. And I'm not hyping this. This isn't, hashtag game changer. This is for real. One of the challenges we have in developing After Effects is this whole idea of how do you make a feature that affects everybody who uses After Effects. And if we make things that are compositing features, the animators get left out. If we make things that are animation features, the compositors get left out. This is one of those features that absolutely every single one of you is going to benefit from. The learning curve for this new feature is 0. And no matter what type of work that you're doing, it's going to make you faster, more creative, and stay in that kind of creative mindset while you're using After Effects. Sound pretty good? Yeah. You want to know what it is? I'm not going to tell you. But if you watch very closely and you wait until the end of my demo, I will tell you at the end. But if you are an experienced After Effects artist, I want you to pay just close attention to the way I'm using After Effects, because you may figure it out yourself. If you already know, if you've seen my demos this week, please don't tell your neighbors just yet. Let them discover it for themselves, because I think that whole moment of discovery, I've been watching this all week here at the show, and it's this moment of, did you see that? Did you? So let your neighbors experience that moment for themselves. To get started, though, I'm going to start with talking a little bit about a common task a lot of us have to deal with, and that is motion tracking, and in particular, tracking people's faces. Doing facial tracking is a very common thing that a lot of us have to do. Many times you want to use, get a good track on the face for maybe doing some sort of color grading, adjusting skin tone. If I wanted to turn one of these guys into a zombie, I might start. The first thing I would do is maybe just take the skin tone and give it kind of a bit of a greenish wash, kind of lower the saturation. In order to do this for the face, in the past, this involved using a pen tool, drawing a mask, but as this guy's face changes in shape, I would, of course, have to go back through and kind of adjust points, and it would be, kind of a hand roto job at that point. So we want to make it much easier for people to do face tracking. I'm going to do some face tracking on this surprise gentleman over here on the side here, and instead of using the pen tool, I'm just going to grab an ellipse tool and draw a simple ellipse shape around this guy's face. You don't have to make it a very tight mask. In fact, you just are basically giving After Effects a clue saying, look for a face somewhere in this part of the screen. Now, when I start tracking this, I'm going to use something called face tracking outline only, because we just want to get an outline of his face here. I'll go ahead and track. You can go forward or backward. I'm going to go ahead and track backwards. And you can see that the mask has instantly changed shape to something different. It's actually adds additional points, and even as he opens his mouth, the mask actually tracks to his mouth opening. So in one quick and easy step, we've done face tracking inside of After Effects. I can now use this mask to do some different things here. Let's go ahead and finish the track so that we have the entire shot tracked here. I'll go ahead and track that forward. And now we've got a mask for the entire shot. I can start to do some really neat things with this. I'll go ahead and take a hue saturation effect, drag it and drop it on the layer, maybe play with the input saturation a little bit, just kind of warm up his skin tone just a touch. Did you see it? Did you see it yet? Anybody? No? Okay. That's all right. You will. You'll know what I'm talking about. All right. So that's just one example. From here, I might also want to use the feather tool to go in and just kind of feather the mask just a touch on this. There's a lot of different things that we can do. Let's switch that back to an additive mode. And I'll go ahead and take, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even, there we go. Now we've got it tracked. And now we just have the saturation on just the mask there. I can bring that up a touch. If I was doing the zombie effect, I would, of course, like drop that down and maybe start to play with hue and kind of give him maybe just a little bit of a green tone to it. Did you see it that time? Okay. All right, so face tracking. Another example of this, let's go to use the detailed face tracker. I'm going to do the same exact thing to this guy. Again, get a nice starting point. I'll go ahead and draw a mask. This time I'll do something wacky and crazy. There we go. There we've got a nice... Now, I'm using a polygon shape just to show you that it will automatically grab the shape of the face regardless of what starting mask I have, as long as there's only one face visible in that shape. And we'll go ahead and just track that forward. I'm going to use the detailed features view, and this one will actually grab points for every part of the face. It actually uses multiple points for the mouth, each eye, the nose, the cheeks, all get tracking points in this one and quick and easy step. So I'll go ahead and stop that here, and I'm going to just zoom in on his face so you can see all of the different points. Each eye has 6 points, 3 for the eyebrow, 3 for the eye. The nose has a series of 4 points. The mouth is 4 points. The cheeks and the chin have points. So this means that we now have all of this tracking data for the face in one quick and simple pass. And of course, this, you can see the points moving as the track happens here as the mouth moves. So now from an animation point of view, this gives you just a lot of data that you can use to composite things into the scene. You could take this information and use it for character rigging. I've got an example here. I'll just go ahead and zoom back out, where we're actually taking some things like, this is like an old school mask and an eye patch. We're using something called a bulge effect to actually take the eyes and just kind of make the eyes pop a little bit more in the shot. A little subtle trick there to just make him look a little bit more surprised. Just one example of what you can do with this facial tracking information. Did you see it that time? I'm seeing a lot of heads nodding. Okay. All right. We'll get to it. I'll explain everything. Everything will become clear here in a moment. But what I want to do is show you one more feature before we get to my favorite feature of all time. We're going to talk a little bit about libraries. Now, the concept of libraries have actually been around for a bit. Libraries are basically a way of collaboratively working with multiple people, being able to share assets, and even make your iOS devices, the iPhone, the iPad, part of your workflow. The idea of being creative whenever the mood strikes you. So Adobe's been working on a whole series of different apps that run on mobile devices, and these actually integrate with libraries. And a library is something, it's sort of a folder where you can share a bunch of different things like color swatches, pieces of artwork, color LUTs. So from a video perspective, being able to find a color LUT and being able to share that across multiple people to make sure everything looks the same is one of the things you can use a library for. If you're working with mobile applications, we have different applications that can create vector art with the camera, put something on a white background, take a snapshot of it, and you get a piece of vector art from it. We even have a new project that we're working on, something called Project Candy. And Project Candy, I'll go ahead and fire this up on my iOS device here. And I'll go ahead and use my camera. Candy is actually designed to generate a color profile from the colors that your camera sees. This actually creates a 3D LUT based on the colorimetry that the camera is currently seeing. So if I find an interesting color that I want to create a LUT that's kind of based on, so you've got a wonderful warm shirt on there, so I'm going to actually go ahead and grab a snapshot. Is it okay if I take your picture? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just grab a quick snapshot. And you can see this is actually being applied to a piece of video that I have. We've got a picture here, and I can just very quickly go through and see how much of this colorimetry I want applied to this. It's not affecting the white balance of the camera, but it is starting to get some of the color from the shirt is being applied to the image. And I can adjust the intensity of this, save it. Sir, what's your name? Alan? So we'll go ahead and call this Alan. And that has now become a look in my library that I can then use in Premiere Pro and After Effects. So here I'm inside of this particular comp. Let's go ahead, I'll delete that shape layer, I don't need that. We've got a grade currently applied to this shot. I'll go ahead and turn that off. And if I go into this adjustment layer, I can start to take some of these looks that I have here. I'll go ahead and take one for the carpet, called NAB Carpet. That's a little bit harsh. Let's dial down the opacity on that. That's probably a little bit better. We're getting closer to what we want in the scene. Oh, the other thing I want to do with this shot, let's go into the pre-comp of these graphics here. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. I've got some colors that my graphic artist gave me here, so maybe I want to change those. I'll just go into tint. We'll change the red to this purple. And we'll go down to this tint for the green. And I'll use this to change the green to the blue. That looks a little bit more modern. Let's switch back over and see how that looks in the rest of the scene there. You had to have seen it by now, right? Okay, I'm almost there. I'm running out of time, almost there. So you can see how colors can be used. We've got some graphics that I'll show you in just a second here. Libraries are just a fantastic way of being able to collaborate back and forth. Libraries have existed in Photoshop and Illustrator for a little while now. We're excited to announce that they're now inside of After Effects as well as in Premiere Pro. So just more ways that we let creative people work together. Okay, one other quick example of this. Let me jump into one shot that I have here. Now this is a shot, and I'm going to go ahead and use my view options here, and we'll just turn off some of these controls so you can see this a little bit better. This is an example where we've got this beautiful composite, lovely oak leaf falling here. There's one thing that's kind of driving me crazy about this shot. This tree in the foreground and this tree in the background are actually the same tree. You know, while we were working on this, we just kind of ran out of silhouettes of trees. So, well, duplicate it, reverse it, flip it around, erase a branch. You know, how many times have we had to like reuse artwork, and you wish you had a full library, you know? In fact, wouldn't it be the coolest thing in the world if you had the ability to download up to 500 different items from a marketplace? How many here are using the marketplace, the Creative Cloud Marketplace? Good on you. The rest of you, it's a benefit your membership comes with, and you're not taking advantage of it. So let me show you where this is. I'm going to go to my desktop application. We've got a number of different tabs here. I'm going to go to the Assets tab and click on Market. And I'm going to use the search window here. And let's just type in the word tree. This goes out to the marketplace. And Adobe has been licensing for you to use hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different types of art. I've got different trees here I can use. Let's go ahead and grab this chestnut tree. And if I want to use this chestnut tree, I can choose to download it, and I pick which library I want to put it in. So I'll go ahead and choose to download it to my NAB 2015. And as soon as it's ready, in fact, I think it's already ready, there's my chestnut tree. So from here, I can take that, drag it, and drop it over into my project. Let's go into my pre-comp here, and I'll just take the chestnut tree, drop it in. We'll use scale to kind of scale it down nicely in size. There we go. Right about there. And I'll just take the fill effect that I'm using here, copy it, paste it, turn off the other layer, and just that quickly, the tree over on the side here, I'm no longer distracted as an artist because this tree and this tree are now obviously different trees in my scene here. So again, take advantage of this feature that we have because it's a fantastic resource for being able to get artwork to use in your own comps and your own projects that you're working on. Okay, how many here saw the magic feature that I've been talking about? I see a lot of people nodding heads. How many here have no clue what this magic feature that's going to affect everybody? Oh. Well, let me just take a moment here. So After Effects, is well established in the industry. It's 22 years old now. A couple of years ago, a gentleman by the name of Steve Ford put out a public blog and basically said, we've been thinking about the development and the future of After Effects here, and every year we come up with some just amazing Adobe magic. We bring that to you guys. But what if we took a year off or so and just focused on performance and speed, made the application more modern? The engineering team used terms like, we need to separate this thing from that thing. Very technical talk. We asked the community, would you guys like that? 99% of the people who responded said, yes, do it, please, now, we want it. We want it tomorrow. Well, we're really excited because this is the first big milestone where you are going to benefit from this multi-year work that's been going on behind the scenes to bring a new level of interactive performance inside of After Effects that we haven't had before. So what this means is that I can start to do things in After Effects and the preview never stops. If I want to add a piece of artwork from a library, drag it and drop it, I can come over here and I can start to say, well, let's put that in the sources folder. And that's something that we just have it live in the sources folder there. Again, the preview doesn't stop. If I look at my preview and I say, this blue light, we're going to add an error message, so I want that blinking red, I can just come down here to the particular layer in my comp, and I can start to kind of play with this and say, that's probably, let's go a little bit further. So there's a nice red blinky light on my comp, and it doesn't stop playing. I can then go in and let's just come over back to my project bin. For this piece, let's see, we'll go in and take the look that we have. We'll go into the opacity, kind of dial down that color look a little bit more. The vignette's a little strong, we'll dial that down, and it still hasn't stopped playing back. Now for this next bit, I want to actually change my viewing mode, so yeah, I am going to have to stop playback for just a second, but that's in order to put up a new viewer. I'm going to make sure that this viewer on the right here is locked. There's the little lock icon. So that one is actually locked to this comp. And we'll go ahead and start the comp playing back on this side. Over on this side, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the graphic that we've been working on. And let's just take this error message and just drag it and drop it on here. Let's go ahead and start to scale that back down in size a little bit. Switch over here. You can see that I can pick that up and move it around. Again, this comp just continues to play back. I don't ever see it. It may slow down just a touch, but again, I can be creative with this. I can continue to work. I can be more creative because the application is now starting to just get out of the way and let me focus on what I want to create here. Now, the last thing that I want to point out as part of this, whenever we wanted to preview something, we always used to push a button or we'd come up here to this little control. Does anybody notice something missing from this little control that says preview? There's a word that used to be in front of that. RAM preview. RAM preview is gone. It's not something you have to worry about. We have one unified preview. I'm just hitting the space bar to fire off a preview each and every time I'm working here. And this just continues to work. There are still options in here if I want to go in, and if that scares you beyond all reason, and you say, no, I want to have 0 do one thing and the space bar do something different, simply come over here to the little shortcut, and if you read that, you can see the little tooltip even tells you, option click and it'll reset to the way it was kind of before, but we're no longer going to call it RAM preview because it is just a preview. It takes the best of everything that you're used to, does the right thing, and it's something that is going to make you guys way more creative. Do you think you're going to use this feature? Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for your time. Have a great rest of your NAB. I'm going to turn things over to my colleague, Mr. Jason Levine, in just a short while. So stay tuned for more exciting stuff.